That was a clean outro.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Peace.
Yeah, I want food.
Let's go eat.
Yeah, let's go.
Bye.
Hi, this is Zap, and welcome to the Reset and Zap podcast.
Welcome to us trying to. Welcome to behind the scenes of the Reset and Zap podcast, where we
reset
and try to record for the week
every 2 minutes. Welcome to the Reset and Zap podcast. It's your girl here, Zap, in the fizzy, in the Lizzie, not in the Lizzie, in the house. Okay, and then with me is my.
So we're just going from there. That's what we're doing.
With me is my co-host.
Okay. Hey everybody, what's up? It's your boy TJ.
I mean, they're used to it at this point. It's season 4, okay?
Okay, cool. Whatever. Let's go.
Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. It's just two middle-aged grown-ups recording a podcast in their living room.
Yeah.
So welcome.
Into our living room.
Here at the Reset and Zap podcast, it's all about resetting
And
being in the right mindset
for what?
for a brand new week, because Lord Almighty, He knows we need it. And we talk about everything. We talk about parenthood, work-life balance,
Best believe it.
gaming, the creator,
Yeah.
anything philosophical
What
goes. That's it. That's pretty much it.
Call me Socrates.
Oh, the whatever the hell must find.
So what are we talking about today, man?
Well, today we're talking about a special announcement. Let's hit them with that fast forward. You bet that you weren't expecting to see this coming. Okay. Fast forward.
All right.
Just do the fast forward. Okay, there we go. Fast forward. We got a special announcement, and we're going to talk about it right now.
Okay.
We have an album announcement.
Oh, we're doing that this episode?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have an album announcement, and I also want to thank you for everything, as we're going to be doing a self-reflection in overall growth. Just saying thank you to the community as we're looking back and ahead and seeing where we're at right now.
Hold on, album. Which album are we talking about?
Ours.
Oh, because there's also the Reset and Zap albums. I didn't know where we were.
We're talking about all of them.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, by this point, Reset and Zap Volume 2 album, which is we're going to be discussing, is probably and has already been out. Yeah. But we're talking about all albums in this podcast.
Gotcha. Okay.
And since you're the music guy, the musical, the lyrical.
I thought you were about to start rapping for a minute there. Okay. Yeah, so like she said, the volume 2, if you've been listening to the podcast, you'll notice that the music sounds a little different than it did in the previous seasons. And that's because we've created all new music for season 4 of the podcast. And if you enjoy that music, you can go to your favorite music streaming platform, type in the name ZapCristal, and you'll find volume 2 of the Reset and Zap podcast album, where you'll be able to listen to all these new tracks at your leisure.
Yeah.
And if you missed the season 1 music, you can also listen to season 1 music, because that album is still there as well.
I'm sharing some of the changes that they can experience now with Volume 2.
Oh yeah, Volume 2, you're gonna get some nice quality lo-fi study music, some chill vibes, and much higher quality. Because your boy's been learning how to mix and master now.
You've been doing great.
Yeah. So you probably noticed that the podcast is sounding a little cleaner, and that the music sounds a little cooler. You probably also noticed some new graphics and logos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely check out for that. And secondly, which may or may not be out by the time this episode drops, I have no idea.
No idea. But we're gonna talk about it.
Me and ZapCristal are dropping, or have dropped, a new album.
What's it called?
His Queen, Her Hero.
Our
first collaboration album as a couple.
Yeah, I know that sounds crazy, right?
Yeah, I know.
First.
We've worked on, individual songs with each other, and we've helped each other out with our projects here and there, but we have never completely formed a project from beginning to end together.
So we join forces.
And now this is or is not out yet.
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna assume it's probably out or about to come out. Yeah, at this point.
Yeah, it's somewhere. It's either about to come out or it just came out, somewhere around there.
Exactly.
But I hope you guys will enjoy that, because this is, I think, some of our best work. We've made some incredible music together. I had an incredible time making this album with you, and I really think you guys are going to enjoy it. We got some hits. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna stun a little bit. We got some hits on there.
Possible. Is there a release date for when this album is going to be officially out on all streaming platforms?
If it is not currently out, then it will be out on the first Thursday of January.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly. Can you get the calendar for me?
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what day that is, but we're basically starting off the new year with this album.
Okay, so the first Thursday is actually January 1st.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ow.
January
Actually, so it'll probably be
1st.
the one after that then.
So Thursday, that would be January 8th.
January 8th.
Oh, okay.
Is the release date. Yeah, because normally at Master Sword Music, we do our welcome week. So during the welcome week of 2026,
yes.
you will get a video from the intro of the album.
Okay.
And you will also get the very first song from that album in the very first week. So they're going to get 2 videos from our album in that first week for the welcome week in 2026. So definitely check that out.
Nice. And so let's talk about it. Let's finally talk about this album.
Let go.
You have any idea of how many tracks are in this album?
I was not prepared to talk about this.
Yeah.
15, I think.
I think it's about 15 tracks.
15 or 16, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know this is what this episode is going to be
Yeah.
about. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I make a lot of music, so I just sometimes it's hard to remember
Our light is
everything.
over there showing off
Yeah,
too.
the light is over there going ham
But that's okay.
for some reason.
We're gonna let it be.
It is what it is, though.
We're gonna let it be.
Yeah.
This is the let it be.
But yeah, I want to say it's 15 tracks.
Mm-hmm.
It is produced by myself. I've done all the production on this album, written by the both of us, mostly written by Miss Crystal over here.
But fun fact, we still do have the participation of my brother for one of the remixes.
One of the tracks was produced by her brother.
Mm-hmm.
And it also does feature some very, very cool remixes featuring the Master Sword Music family. If you remember from our love journey, there was a song called Lolly. So we got a Master Sword Music remix of that track. And if you've been listening to Return of the Hero, you'll remember a song called Proud to Be a Gamer, which also is getting a Master Sword Music remix featuring the entire Master Sword Music family.
These were the most acclaimed tracks on these albums that people wanted remixes for. And we were like, you know what?
Let's give it to them.
Why not?
So you'll get those. You'll get a track produced by her brother, which is an amazing remix as well.
Yeah.
And you get the rest of the production from myself. Amazing lyrics written by my wife. Music from every kind of style and genre you could possibly imagine.
If you think you're gonna be getting our love journey / all about you, you're wrong.
No, this is an album where we just really sat back and had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We didn't have a plan. We didn't have a strategy. We just said we're gonna just do whatever feels right.
Now I will say, it does follow a storyline. Where it ties along nicely. Our love journey and those who are a fan, of course, of All About You. So you're gonna see like some kind of a lot of references to these past albums.
But this is more like the final conclusion.
Yeah.
This is more of here's where we are. Here's where we are now.
Yeah. In present time, we gave ourselves a way more freedom to creatively be playful and go with the flow and choose whatever we wanted it to be at the end of the day. And I think the album shows just that.
Oh yeah, so definitely stay tuned for that. And as always, we like to do too much.
Yeah.
So we have made videos for every single song on the album. So definitely be tuning out to the Master Sword Music channel, where every other Thursday you'll be getting a new video from that project. So definitely stay tuned for that. We'll have
a live listening party. We always do.
The Saturday after release, You'll get a live listening party. And then, of course, after all the videos drop, we'll do another viewing party where we'll watch the entire videos from beginning to end.
Also, for the very first time, when this album is officially out, right, on all streaming platforms, you're going to be able to search this album under both of our names, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, since this is a collaborative project, it'll show up under both your profile and mine's. So you can find this album by either typing in ZapCristal or typing in TJ the Gamer, and you will find this project because it is actually a collaborative project with both of our names as lead artists.
So I hope you enjoy this project. It's something we poured our hearts into, like we do with all of our projects, really. And it's very, very, very different. So I hope you guys support this project that's coming out very, very soon.
Beginning of January, which actually celebrates 5 years of Master Sword music.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
2026 will be 5 years of Master Sword music. So this album will be the first one to bring in of that 5th year anniversary.
Nice.
And since we're talking about that, also launching around that same time will be Master Sword Music Volume 7.
Okay.
Which is a tribute to 5 years of Master Sword music. Ooh. Normally during the Master Sword music volumes, we do video game remixes.
Yes.
But for this special edition of Master Sword Music Volume 7, we're going to be remixing my previous work.
Oh my God, yes, I completely forgot about this.
Mm-hmm. So, like I said, every other Thursday, you'll get a video from His Queen, Her Hero, our album.
Yes.
And those in between weeks, you're still going to get videos, but they're going to be remixes of my past work to celebrate 5 years of Master Sword music.
5 years of MSM in the making.
Mm-hmm. So you'll get to see some of the old music reworked into modern. And I'm not going to tell you which ones because, man, there's some pretty cool stuff that we've managed to pull off on there. So Master Sword Music 2026 is looking pretty cool. And we got even more in the works coming further down the line.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. We would overwhelm them if we were to sit down.
Yeah, that's all y'all getting for now. But definitely stay tuned for His Queen, Her Hero, and definitely look out for Master Sword Music Volume 7, celebrating 5 years of Master Sword music.
So thank you for everything, like I mentioned. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for supporting the podcast. Thank you for supporting our projects.
Oh, yeah.
Our live streams. Thank you for everything because, if it weren't for you guys, we wouldn't be here continuing and creating and building a community, building a space where we can all share our passions, exchange our own, different interests and grow and learn from each other as we're doing this. So
big facts.
Yeah. Thank you for everything. And as we thank you, the community, the Reset and Zap, as we are, basically 4 seasons in.
Yeah. Season 4, baby.
It's crazy when I say it because I still can't believe we're 4 seasons in.
Season 4, let's go.
We're going to be looking back and ahead as we basically examine overall, this is more of a self-reflection. We're self-reflecting about our overall growth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
How much we've grown. This idea actually came from me looking back into my channel and reminiscing of how it all started and leading to, where it is right now and how much I've changed, over the course of the years and how much the content has changed. So looking back and now ahead, where we are at.
All right. Interesting.
It's just a way of saying thank you to the community.
Okay.
Because we wouldn't have been able to look back and ahead
without it.
Yeah, without it.
Cool. All right. This sounds like it's going to be interesting. If I look surprised, it's because I don't know if y'all believe me or not, but I genuinely do not know what we're going to be talking about when we get up here. So if I looked a little shocked, it's because I genuinely didn't know this.
But we got to do something. We're missing something that we have to do.
What are we missing?
We got to stop.
And
pause. All right.
Okay.
There we go. Now you can continue.
All right. So am I starting this off?
Where are we going? I would love to actually hear your story because have you been able to take a minute to look back and ahead?
Funny enough, yes. It's very interesting that this is the subject now because at well, all right, if we're talking in my present self, I've recently started my next project where
Okay.
actually the purpose of that project is to tell my story from beginning to end. And during this project, I had to do exactly what you're talking about is, look at where I started from and look at where I'm at now. So I've actually done this pretty recently. And, for those of you who don't know, when I first started doing this, I actually started doing it as a solo artist. I was just doing my own thing. My original channel was called TJ the Gamer. So it was
Okay.
just me, and I was doing mostly just remixes at that point, and maybe a couple like little freestyles here and there just for fun. But then I took a large break for a time. I was dealing with some stuff in my personal life, and I don't want to tell the full story because that's what the album is for. So you'll see that when it comes.
Okay.
But then I returned, created Master Sword Music, and started looking for other artists that I could work with, and that built into what I grew as Master Sword Music later, which the current family that we have now. We have Miss ZapCristal, we got my boy Action Jack and VG Mobster and Thousand Star Katetsu Tokai, and also want to give a big shout out to Katie, who was a longtime member of Master Sword Music, but decided to take a break from pretty much all content
Yeah.
and just to live her life. So definitely want to give her shout outs those because she was a big part of who I was when I started, and she definitely supported and gave me a big boost to my channel very early on. And from that, I grew to where we are now, and it's very interesting to look back on it because it seems like everything in my head seemed to have happened so fast. But just like we were talking about earlier, no, Master Sword Music has been going on for 5 years now. And it doesn't really seem like it's been that long, but so much has changed and so much has evolved over time, just from the channel's visual standpoint to the kind of music that we make, the way we release music, and it's really fun to go back and look at the growth. Like when I was creating the remixes for the 5th anniversary album, it was interesting watching those old videos and how noob I was at editing and syncing audio and doing anything with like just editing the channel and presenting it the best way I could. But
Also, let me stop you there
okay,
because you're probably not expecting this either.
all right,
Like everything else at this point, right?
okay.
Um, Congratulations for hitting a milli.
Hey, a milli, a milli, a milli, a milli.
Speaking
a
about
milli.
looking back and ahead, how does it feel? Such a far-fetched goal to now be one that was achievable.
Yeah, well, for those of you who don't know, recently, and recently as in this moment, not when this video releases,
Yeah.
I have hit 1 million music streams worldwide. And honestly, it was kind of an arbitrary goal. Like there was nothing attached to it. It was just something that I thought was impossible. And for me, I always like to reach for impossible goals. Like I remember maybe about 2 or 3 years ago, we hit like 500,000, and I was like, you know what would be cool? If I double this number, make it a million. Just a million just sounds good, a million. It just sounds good. And at that time when I said that, it seemed impossible. But then over time, the streams kept coming in and people kept really, really enjoying the music. And then last year, when we ended the year last year, I was at 900, I want to say 920,000. So I was about 70 to 80,000 streams away from hitting a million.
Gotcha.
And I was just like, wow, this could actually happen. Like if I had another good year, it could happen. And then of course at the beginning of this year, I released my next album, The Return of the Hero, which is my highest streaming album to this day. So those numbers really started climbing, and next thing I know, I was at 9.5, and then I'm like, oh man, like it's really actually possible. And then actually funny thing is things slowed down. The numbers actually started slowing down and streams were not coming in as frequently as I would have liked. And after a while, I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to leave it alone. Not going to keep checking the numbers because thinking that one day it's going to happen. And then 2 months went by. And one morning I just woke up and something in me just said, check. It's been a while. Just go check. And then when I checked, it was actually at 1,033,000. I was actually over 1 million. And I was just like, you saw me. I kind of, that's why my foot is kind of hanging out here now, because I got a little too excited.
You got a little too excited.
It jumped around and I hurt myself a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was really cool to see that on my own, with no label or no industry push or anything, that I was able to have my music listened to 1 million times. And that was just something that I've always wanted as a personal goal within myself, to feel like, hey, my music actually mattered to somebody. Somebody enjoyed it. People around the world are listening. And it was a really cool goal to hit. So I'm very happy to have achieved that, and just can't wait to see how far that goes.
Okay.
And also, I want to give a shout out to my wife, ZapCristal, who dropped her first project last year and is right on the cusp of hitting 8,000 music streams. So,
I know, that was crazy.
Yeah. So you climbing on up there yourself, man.
Yeah.
It took me about 6-7 years to get to where I am now, and in 1 year you've done amazing numbers for your first, not even full year actually. So
yeah,
I'm very, very impressed with what you've done. So you need to give yourself a round of applause, man.
I gotta do like the kids. Yay! But yeah, that's no small goal. It's a huge milestone. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see how far you've come along.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah. It's definitely been quite the journey. And just even beyond the numbers and beyond that, just seeing how much I've developed as an artist, how much I've developed as a writer, as a producer, as just seeing where I started and how much I've developed and grown, and now I can really like mixing and mastering and learning all these different skills and abilities and being able to add them. Because like I said, those skills have helped me with developing the podcast. So I've been able to make the podcast sound a lot cleaner and crisper, and knowing how to properly mix and master and edit things.
It's like with every season, the podcast just gets better.
Yeah. So it's like, I love watching that growth of how much I've developed my talent, just even beyond just like the numbers, because the numbers are cool. But what really is important to me is seeing my own personal growth, because one of my favorite lines of all time is, I compete with myself and I'm winning. Like, I love competing with myself, trying to outdo who I am. Like, I don't want to compete with nobody else. Y'all can do what y'all want to do. But to be able to outdo myself every time is the goal that I look for. And I feel like I have done that.
That's so cool. It's really cool when you get to step back for a minute, because like you said, sometimes we're working at such a fast pace, and we got so much going on, and just taking a minute to sit back and look at all of the work that has been done and what has come from it it's always fulfilling.
Very much so. And especially going back to that working at food, like I'm always working toward the next thing. So I never really take a time to look back. And I think now that I've put out, so much work, and now that I'm so far ahead of myself, like at the end of 2025, I was already pretty much done with half of the year of 2026. So that really, having that space of time really gave me an opportunity to sit back and really like, oh wow, that's what made me even realize it's been 5 years, is that I was, just going through stuff, and I was getting stuff prepared, and getting video clips, and I was looking back at my first video, and I was like, whoa, that was 5 years ago. Oh wait, that's this year. Like, oh, that'll be 5 years this. Oh man, that's the sort of music that was going on for 5 years. And that's when I was like, I got to do something special. So that's when I came up with the whole 5th anniversary remix album. And it was cool to go back. Like I said, it was cool to go back and watch those old videos and reinterpret those old songs, and developing the music and bringing them into a more modern era of Master Sword music. So it's been a ride, man. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really excited to have an amazing 5th year anniversary. Probably gonna do some more cool stuff for the 5th anniversary. I got some stuff and some ideas in my head, but it's just I'm really happy with how far I've come and how far Master Sword music has come. And even more than that, how far we've come.
I was about to say, because I'm like, this has kind of crossed over to real life achievements as well. Mm-hmm. So it's cool to see how as you thrive in one area, it's contagious.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like a stream. It just kind of goes down, and just
100%.
everything else kind of is blossoming at the same rate, same speed.
Like my love for you.
Oh, snap. Okay, all right. I didn't know this was our love journey part 2.
Yeah, girl.
As of for me, it's pretty interesting because I feel like I'm in retirement. I'm like, yeah, I've grown. I'm done. That's where I'm at. I'm in my old season phase.
Yeah, girl.
but I could say that because I've done a lot.
You have done a lot.
So going back and seeing it, and I think for me, I've taken a lot of stuff for granted.
Mm-hmm.
But I was really in my feelings the other day, and that's how this topic came to be. Because as I sat down to reflect on how much I've done, I was like, wow, I have a really dope community.
Yeah.
And my community has allowed me to do all these things. And that's really dope. I just, because, you know, a lot of creators and podcaster or whatever your art is, just go through the motions. You know, people go through the motions, do what they have to do in order to grow and see those numbers. But you forget sometimes that in order to make this possible, there's somebody watching on the other side, supporting it.
That's right.
And if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't be there, you know? So as much as you put in the work, you also have to have a group of followers who believe in your dream.
That's very, very true.
So I sat down and I was thinking about all these names that popped in my head: Dizzy, Frankie, D Media, and I'm getting a little emotional, but I started thinking about all these names in my head, and I'm like, yeah, they always there. They're always popping into one live stream, you know, Half Tower, which is Jay's nemesis. And it's always fun because we have these inside jokes, you know, about them. We have stories, we have moments, you know, celebrations that they've seen my family grow. They've seen my kids grow. They've seen me mature as a creative person. And it's really dope to see that they're still there supporting me and how much I've changed, and for them to be okay with that change, you know? And that's where it came from. I was like, yeah, I could tell y'all probably everything I have done and that you probably already know at this point. But beyond those milestones that I've achieved over the years, it's more so about the people I've met along the way.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's been my biggest achievement right now as a person. All the people I've connected with, the experiences, the memories behind it, all the conventions I visited, every panel I was involved in, every project I was involved in, every collaboration I've had, you know, just getting to be a part of not only achieving my own dreams, but being able to help other people achieve their own goals and their own dreams as well, you know. So it's been really cool to be able to just lay back, sit back, and just enjoy the fruits of my labor. I think at this point, I'm just kind of reaping, if that makes sense. I've already put in the work, and I'm just letting it be. It's a grown up.
Oh, yeah.
It's gone to college.
Let's go.
I've done my job.
Got your degree?
I got my degree. And I'm just pretty much just sitting back and enjoying it and just letting it be for what it is. And the podcast it started more of as a personal ambition. Because you have to have your own little personal projects that are just for you.
Oh, yeah.
But the fact is that this has grown tremendously and out of scope at this point, you know, where it's now just like way past of just a personal project, and it has become a community project.
Oh, yeah.
Where people have shown up to support it. And honestly, you know, since we're having this real talk, there's been moments in my life that I really thought people didn't care about the podcast. I was like, I don't know if this is worth doing. Maybe this is a waste of time. Maybe I should just stop doing it. Because your mind can be your worst enemy for anything you do.
It always is.
And like not too long ago, we did a live stream, and because it's been a minute, we had so many people show in, and the first thing they were like, I miss you, it's so good to catch y'all live, and oh my god, we gotta wait till January for the album, and the podcast is gonna be so dope, and I had a moment again. I
saw you get emotional.
I was like, wow, I still matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's I 100% get what you're saying, because I feel that way sometimes about my music. Like, does anybody really care? Is anybody really listening? But then I go back, and like I said, it's been 2 months since I checked the numbers, and then in 2 months I've got 60 to 70,000 streams. Somebody's listening. It matters to somebody, because those numbers keep increasing. They keep going up. They keep going up. So somebody's listening. And then, even beyond just the numbers, people will hit me up like, hey, I remember this song. This song was so cool. And people reciting my lyrics to me. And, this was my favorite bar right here. And people asking me to do collaborations with them. And people wanting to hear more about, what you got next. And people do care. Like, and even when you feel like they don't, somebody out there is listening. Somebody out there matters. And as long as you're affecting somebody, then you do matter.
Yeah. So really, that's been, for me, the biggest thing that has happened. That's like my biggest accomplishment. That if like tomorrow, let's say I'd be like, okay, I'm done. I'm officially retiring. Officially.
Mm-hmm.
I could sit back and be like, wow, I've made an impact in my community. I've seen so many people start their own channels, start their own creative journey, start their own families. Their kids have grown, and I've just like I could sit back and just enjoy and be like, okay, this was my legacy. I shared my gift. I utilized fully my skills, my talents, everything the Creator has given me, to be able to fulfill my dreams and my goals here on earth. I'm done, and I'm happy, not only with what I've been able to achieve, but I'm done and happy of the person who I've become.
Mm-hmm.
And who I am now.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the most important thing I've taken from out of this creative journey is who I am now as a person creatively. I think I've been for sure the most creative now ever since I've allowed myself to sit back.
Yeah.
And just chill.
Like I said, even beyond the growth of the channels or the growth of our audience or the growth of the community, I think what's more so important is our growth as people.
Yeah.
How we've grown and how we've changed and how we've matured. That journey, I think, is what people really, really latch onto.
I don't think we've ever talked about this.
Okay.
But I'm about to bring it up. We talked about it a lot in private, but we've never talked about this on a podcast.
Okay.
And when I say I've allowed myself to grow as a creative, in this space and in this journey, I've learned to strip away from all imagery and all falsehood that I even created in my creative journey. And that's including my persona, Zap.
Okay. Yeah. We were talking about this.
Yeah. I think Zap died a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I never talked about that openly. But I think people know. People have slowly but surely, over the years have noticed how there's been a different side of me and how different I am from the persona that I had created years ago. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that Zap was a bad person. Zap served a purpose for its time. But I feel like there came a time, once again, that I had outgrown Zap. That was really the issue. Mm-hmm. I had outgrown Zap as a person.
Yeah.
And I was ready to show who Crystal is to the world. Mm-hmm. And ever since I've done that, it's like the connections I've made with people have been more, even deeper.
100%.
And I feel like people are liking this more because it seems more genuine. And yes, Zap is always going to stay. That's the brand, that's the name, that's my nickname, you know? So when everybody calls me Zap, I know it's coming from a place of love. But now it's like when I hear Zap, I'm not, because I used to hate it. So now it's not coming from a place where I hate it anymore. It's more of it's coming from a place of endearment. I'm like, thank you, Zap. I never thought I would say that actually on a podcast, but like, thank you, Zap, for allowing me to build ZapCristal and what it was.
Yeah.
And thank you for the opportunities. Thank you for the connections. Wow, I never thought I would talk to her like that.
Yeah.
You know, thank you for the cockiness. Thank you for standing up for me when I needed somebody to stand up for me.
Oh yeah.
You know. And I appreciate you, and I wish you the best in your retirement. You know, and
Nice.
and soon, you know, there will come a time when Crystal will retire.
Yeah.
And I'll be right there with Zap, chilling it. You know,
That's really cool. It's actually a very interesting way to look at things, because on my previous project, Return of the Hero,
yeah,
I have a song on there which is called TJ the Gamer versus Dark Link, which is a very similar to what we're talking about here. The two different sides of who I am. You know, there's TJ the Gamer, who is the guy that's in front of the camera, the guy who's the star of the show, the guy who leads everything. He's the face. And then there's DJ Dark Link, who is the father, who is the husband, who is the writer, the guy who's behind the scenes that nobody sees.
yeah,
And the song is about their conflict as individuals. Like, you know, TJ is the star of the show, so he's gotten lazy, and he's, you know, because he depends on DJ to do all the writing and do all the work, and he just comes in and he's gotten a little lazy over time. And DJ Dark Link is going through his issues of not being seen and people not seeing the real him, you know, because everybody just looks at TJ and that's the guy, and nobody even knows who DJ is, and how they have to come together and realize that they are both the same person. They both come together to make this art that they both love, and how they are basically essentially brothers in the same thing. And that song really made me have to look at myself in a different light, you know, made me realize that TJ wasn't necessarily all bad, and that he was a part of me. You know, I do have those moments where I do need to feel like I'm on top of the world. I do need to feel like that I'm the best, because that's what makes me who I am. But I also have to recognize the part of me that is a father, that is a husband, that is the intellectual, the more creative person. Like this, both sides of me are valid, and both should have their time in the spotlight. And I think that was the big issue, is that I didn't feel confident in who I was to show people that side of me. So that's why TJ the Gamer was created, so people could see that and look to that and aspire to be that. But when I realized is that once I started showing more of DJ Dark Link, the father, the husband, people really started attaching more to that. People started really like, oh, I like that. I loved it. Like, I remember I talked about this before, but I was on I'm in this group chat thing where there's a bunch of other creators, and sometimes I'll check in on some of the stuff people do. And I jumped on one of the creators' live streams, and she mentioned, hey, it's TJ, what's up? I just want y'all to know, y'all should go check out his music, and he's really cool, he's really dope. But the one thing that I really, really, really love about TJ is how much love he shows his wife. Like how much of a father he is, and how much he truly, truly loves his woman. That's what I really mess with when it comes to him. And that really meant something to me, because it's like, wow, like, that's really cool that people see that side of me as like that. That's what makes him cool. That's what I like about him, is that he is a father, he is a husband, and he's not afraid to show that. He's not afraid to be that. And then that's when I realized that TJ the Gamer's kind of been gone for a while now. I would say ever since All About You. Like, All About You, I think, is the album where DJ Dark Link kind of really took the front and center stage, because I talk about my life, and I talk more about my personal situations and who I am as a person and how I've grown. And Return of the Hero is more of the same. I'm talking about being a father, I'm talking about being a husband, I'm talking about my internal struggles. It's more of the guy behind the camera that I've been showing lately, and that is the person that people have been growing attached to, and who have been following me and been listening to my music, and who appreciate who I am. And then that's when I realized that, like, wow, like, that guy is the one. Like that is the real essence of who I am. And now I can just be that, and I don't have to be just TJ all the time. I can now be my truest self.
Yeah. And we've always had this ongoing joke about how Zap and TJ's channels have kind of merged and become one, and we call it the Zap J brand.
Yeah, Zap J.
But really what we mean by that is ever since we've let go and we've said farewell to our personas and we've just been ourselves, one of the things that is going to occur is us sharing our family to the spotlight. Our marriage to the spotlight, exposing all those areas to the world. So inevitably this was going to happen. Where now people, like we've said this before in private, now people don't see us as two separate entities, but now they see us as one.
It's to the point now where people show up on my channel and people expect to see you on my channel, and people expect to see me on your channel. And anytime we have an event or a live stream or something, they if one of us just shows up and the other one's not there, hey, where's TJ? Or hey, where's Zap? Or they expect us to be like together all the time. I mean, which we are, I get that. I can understand why they would say that because we always are there, but it's just interesting to see how much that's changed, where your audience may not have necessarily knew who I was back then, or my audience may not have knew who you were back then, but now it's just like, oh yeah, that's Zap and TJ. Oh, that's TJ and Zap. Like, it's just like, it kind of just goes hand in hand now. It's kind of just like they expect it, and it's weird if one of us is there and not the other. Like, it's just to a point now where it's like, it's expected that if Zap is having a stream, TJ's going to be there.
Yes.
Or if TJ's having a stream, Zap is going to be there. Or if he's making a video, Zap is helping him with it. Or she's making a video, he's doing this. Like, they expect to see us together.
And I think a lot of it has to do with the podcast, because seeing us have this conversation and seeing us talk, you can see where a lot of the feedback comes from and the comments we receive from people and how much they enjoy the podcast because of that, because we're not trying to fake it here. We're just having a normal day-to-day conversation that we would have had in private. It's just the difference is we have a camera and we have mics attached to it.
Pretty much, yeah, because I mean that was actually how the podcast was created. Like, we would just be riding in the car and just talking about stuff like this and just talk, and it was just like, that's really like, we would just have these really long drawn out conversations, no music playing, nothing, just riding, just talking to each other. And that's how the basis of the podcast were created. I was like, hey, I think we figured out what the podcast is. This is it. These conversations that we have just randomly about anything, that's the podcast. Yeah,
pretty much. So yeah, that's really where this whole topic comes from. Just going back, going back and ahead, just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Reflecting how far we've come along the way. Yeah. It's been a great journey.
And to finish it off, the one thing the most important to me, I'm about to fan out for a little bit, is how we've grown as a married couple.
Oh yeah.
How we've grown from where we started to where we are now.
Yeah.
How I stepped off that plane 4 years ago.
It's crazy.
And laid eyes on you for the first time.
Yeah.
To now, 4 years later, we're married, have a kid.
Yeah.
Living together, working together. Mm-hmm. And just we've instantly become like this well-oiled machine.
You're my best friend.
My best friend. Oh. She's trying to make me cry on camera. You almost got me. You almost got me, bro. But yes, you are my best friend too.
This deserves a cronut.
Hey, I am down for a cronut. Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me with a good time. We'll go to that joint.
I always ended up tearing up.
Get me one of them sandwiches again.
Oh Lord.
Can we have a chef's kiss segment real quick?
Oh God, we got a new segment, by the way, coming soon, and you guys are about to discover that one because it's gonna be so much fun.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That one is definitely coming soon. But yeah, I just want to let you know, guys, that if you're tuning in and you're still listening to this talk, thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to say, I know, not a lot of people take the time to thank you guys, but really, if anybody has to thank anybody, it's us to you. So thank you for everything. Thank you for the support for these 4 seasons.
Season 4, baby.
Thank you for allowing me to sit behind this microphone, still having these conversations, because you guys are listening to it. So I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Don't forget to drop your feedback. Continue, showing your support by rating the show. It really does help us refine and fine-tune this podcast. So you guys can continue enjoying this listening experience
all day.
And it just makes our lives better.
Yeah, we enjoy it. We actually, not all jokes aside, like, we really do love hearing from you guys, hearing how well you enjoy the podcast and what things we can improve and what parts you like, that actually really brings us a lot of joy. We really enjoy hearing from you guys about the podcast. So continue to do so. It will continue to grow and improve this podcast for all of you, because that is why we do it.
Yeah. So don't forget that you can listen to this podcast pretty much anywhere where podcast is streamed, Apple, Spotify.
If they have podcasts, we're on it.
We're on it. And of course, if you're watching the videos, you can watch it obviously on Spotify, thanks to our partnership over there with STEM.
Shout out Spotify.
And on YouTube over at ZapCristal. Because ZapCristal got plenty of love to still share.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I want to remind you guys
to
always reset
and
zap, of course,
for the what?
For the week.